Good evening. Hello. Good evening, lovely, lovely people. So nice to see you again. Really nice to see you. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. I miss you all so much. Lovely to have you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for giving me your Sunday evening. As always, you let me come into your lovely warm homes this time of the week. Thank you very much. And I truly want to thank you for your very, very nice, heartwarming, lovely, lovely messages that you sent during the time I had a cold. I was thinking to myself, no other nationality is as kind, as warm, as friendly as, you know, the Iranian community. I don't care where you live. You were all just so nice, you know, very, very kind, very considerate. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm feeling much better now. Your lovely words obviously helped me to a swift recovery. So I'm here with you tonight. Very, very happy to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer some questions. There's one question that I've got this question so many times from so many students that I thought I'd answer this one question in one of my live sessions, and hopefully it'll be helpful to everybody. Okay, what is the time there, my friend? The time is just gone 7 o'clock. Just gone 7 o'clock. Okay, so I hope that helps. Right, so yes, I'm going to answer one question that I have from a lot of students, the same question, and that is a lot of students have asked me to talk about would. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about would, but I'm not just going to talk about the grammar of it, because the grammar of it is extremely boring. I'm going to use would in proper everyday sentences, sentences that hopefully you'll be able to use, you know, as of tomorrow, hopefully, and that's the whole idea of it. Now, I do want to let you know, would is a modal verb, and the sentences, the examples that I've got for you that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, all of them are from my course, which is the Modal Verbs course. If you find tonight's lesson useful, then I strongly recommend that you take a look at my website for the Modal Verbs course. If you're interested in it right now, all you have to do right now in the comment is type modal. You need to type the word modal, and you will automatically be sent a message where you will be able to go to the website and check out the lessons themselves. So what I'm telling you tonight is would, and it's from my Modal Verbs course, which is on the website. If you want more information about this, you just type the word modal, M-O-D-A-L, and you'll get an automated message. Okay, so the word would is one, modal, M-O-D-A-L, please, M-O-D-A-L. I've just got someone wrote it with an E. If you could write it with an L, A, M-O-D-A-L, please. Right, let me see if I can type it here, modal, okay, and if I can even, I should have been able to pin that. No, okay. Usually I should be able to pin it, but I can't. Never mind. So it's modal, M-O-D-A-L, please, and you'll get an automated message coming to your inbox, giving you all the information about this course. So what I'm teaching you is actually from my Modal Verbs course. Okay. So the question was, Layla, would. Tell us about would. Would is one of those words that has lots and lots of different functions. In fact, it has 8 different functions in the English language. Would you believe it? It's one word, same spelling, same pronunciation, but it actually does 8 different jobs in the English language. That's a lot, right? So it's important that we know what it means, where to use it correctly so that we can get it done properly. Yeah? Okay. The first one that a lot of you may already know is when you want to make a polite request. So you want to make a polite request. Let's say, for instance, you've gone to, I don't know, a hotel and you want to check in, but the queue is really long, yeah, at the check-in. And so you just want to sit down for a minute and wait for this queue to go down. Or let's say anywhere, you've gone to a train station, you're waiting for the train, and you know, you've got quite a long wait, so you just want to sit down for a minute, or anywhere where you just want to sit down for a few minutes, okay? And let's say there's someone already sitting on that bench or close to you. You want to ask, is it okay if I sit here? Now, if you use, is it okay if I sit here? That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. But what we say ourselves, amongst ourselves in a native way is, would you mind if I park myself here? Would you mind if I park myself here? And that's an idiom that we use. Would you mind if I park myself here? That's an idiom. Now, some of you, there was یکی از زبان آموزان خیلی محترم توی یکی از کامنت های ریل که من گذاشته بودم، ریل یادم نیست مال چه روزی بود، توی یکی از کامنت ها این زبان آموز خیلی محترم از من پرسیدن که چرا میپیچونی لیلا؟ اوکی؟ سوال خیلی خوبی هم هست و اگر این زبان آموز یا زبان آموزای دیگه هستن که یه مقدار شاید دلخور باشن، ناراحت باشن که من چرا زبان رو میپیچونم، اولا معذرت میخوام، قصد من پیچوندن زبان نیست. اون دوستانی که تشریف میارن خارج از کشور خودشون میخوان حرف بزنن که خب صحبت کردنشون عالی هست، ولی وقتی که یک نیتیو سپیکر میخواد یه چیزی به شما بگه، اکثر وقتا نیتیو سپیکر اتوماتیکلی از ایدیوم استفاده میکنه و متوجه نیست که خب ممکنه منی که دارم این ایدیوم رو میگم، اون آقا یا خانمی که از خارج کشور اومده ممکنه این ایدیوم رو تا حالا نشنیده، نمیشناسه، نمیدونه منظور من چیه. یه نیتیو اینجور فکر نمیکنه پیش خودش. به خاطر همین کاری که من میکنم این هست که میام نیتیوش رو هم یاد میدم، ولی شما هر کدوم رو که دوست داشتید استفاده کنید. میتونید بگید can I sit here، میتونید بگید is anyone sitting here، میتونید بگید is this seat taken. همه اینا درسته، ولی اونجوری که یک نیتیو میاد به شما میگه، برای اینکه شما متوجه بشید که اون شخص چی میگه، این هست would you mind if I park myself here. Okay, that's it. تنها کاری که من تو کل اینستاگرام دارم میکنم همینه. اصلا قصدم پیچوندن زبان نیست، به خاطر اینکه اگر من قبول دارم اگه یه نفر میتونه یک حرفی رو بزنه، میتونه هدف خودش، منظور خودش رو برسونه، چه دلیلی داره که هی بخواد بره یه جور دیگه‌شو یاد بگیره؟ خب من اگه بتونم چه جوری منظورمو برسونم که نیازی نیست یه جور دیگه‌شو یاد بگیرم، میتونم منظورمو با همین لغات خیلی ساده برسونم. درسته؟ کاملا حرف شما درسته. من فقط دارم چیزی رو یاد میدم که اگه یک نیتیو سپیکر به شما گفت، اون موقع مثلا مثل کلمه umbrella که خیلی همون میگیم برالی، اون موقع طرف نمونه oh my god برالی چیه؟ برالی یعنی چی؟ برالی؟ At least you know that, oh yeah, I remember somewhere Layla or somebody said that the slang for umbrella is brolly. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. من واقعا عمدن قصد پیچوندن زبان رو ندارم، قصد ندارم که خدای نکرده کسی بخواد فکر کنه وای من با اومدن تو پیج لیلا تازه فهمیدم چقدر زبان کم بلدم. اصلا اینطور نیست. شماها که تشریف میارین توی لایو من، زبانتون خیلی خوبه که تمام لایو های منو متوجه میشید. اوکی؟ من قصدم فقط این هست که از نظر listening مشکل پیش نیاد. That's it. من گفتم اینو فقط توضیح بدم. اوکی. Right. Very good. So, would you mind if I park myself here? That means, can I sit here? It means, is this seat taken? Yeah, but that's the way we say it. Would you mind if I park myself here? And I've used the word would, پس من ببخشید مثل این که میگن اینا confusing هست. من کامنت ها رو میبندم. Sorry, please don't go anywhere. So we're using the modal verb would, and I'm using it to make a polite request. Excuse me, I'm requesting that person who's sitting on that bench to tell me, is it okay? Is it okay if I sit here with you? I'm actually making a request, okay? So would you mind if I park myself here? Is that okay if I sit next to you, or if I sit here? So that's the first one. The next one is, we're going to use would again. This is a different function, again from my courses, the modal verbs course. I'm using a different function. This time, instead of saying want, I'm going to use I would like, okay? And that just makes it a little bit more formal and a little bit more polite. Yes, it's fine. I can go into a bank and say, I want a checkbook. It's not very nice. I want a checkbook. People will say, I want a checkbook. Why are you talking like that? So we have to say it in a polite way. And one way of saying it in a polite way, instead of saying want, is we say would like, okay? So we're going to say it with would like. For example, let's say somebody has said, Layla, it's late. Do you want me give you a lift? Layla, do you want me give you a lift? Kamilish has, do you want me to give you a lift? تو شو میندازیم. Layla, do you want me give you a lift? میخوای یه جایی برسونمت? Yeah. Layla, do you want me give you a lift? And I want to say in a polite way, I want to say راستش نمیخوام بندازمتون تو زحمت. Yeah. This is how I would say it. I wouldn't like, instead of saying I don't want, I say I wouldn't like. I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Okay, so someone wants to do something for me, someone wants to help me, someone wants to offer to do something for me, and I want to say, oh, thank you, that's really kind of you, really nice, but I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Now, a lot of people think, wait a minute, Layla, inconvenience is the noun. Yes, we also use it as the verb. Okay, inconvenient with a T is the adjective. Inconvenience is the noun. It can also be the verb as well. So here, when you've offered very nicely to give me a lift, I'm going to say, thank you. I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. So yeah, if it's okay with you, yeah, I'd love a lift. Thank you. Yeah, but I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. This is instead of saying I don't want to inconvenience you. It's just more polite. It's nicer to say I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Okay, I'm going to turn the comments on just to make sure that you're still there. You haven't left. Excuse me. Is everybody okay so far with the first two functions that I've just mentioned for would? The first one is when we make a polite request. The second one is where we use would like instead of want. Yeah. Is everybody okay with that so far? Just give me maybe a thumbs up or a yes or anything. Sorry, I've spoken a lot today. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Everybody's okay so far? Yes, 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 100%. Fantastic, fantastic, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, yes. So, barati simin, yeah. Would like is instead of want. It's just a more polite way of saying it, yeah. This is another thing. People who are learning English, so their English is a little bit lower, they come into a bank, into a pharmacy, to the doctor, they go to a supermarket or whatever, and for example they say I want a bag. Okay, I want a bag. In the English culture, if someone says I want a bag, that's very, very rude. In Farsi it might be fine. Yeah, salam, ye kise mikham, ye kise mikham, ye kif mikham. That's fine, yeah. But in the English culture, when you want to ask for something, You want to just say, I want. It's not nice at all. It's really rude. And we're a little bit shocked sometimes. Oh my God, this person is so rude. But if you say would like, then obviously that makes it okay. That makes it much better. Okay, lovely. Let's go to the next one. Masi Mayohi, is that right? I wouldn't like, please. I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way, I'm going to write all of these down, and this is being recorded. I'm going to put it on YouTube, so you'll be able to see all of these sentences. And just to remind anybody who's just joined, tonight's lesson, all these sentences are from my Modal Verbs course. In my Modal Verbs course, I don't just teach modal verbs, I teach conversation English. Okay, I teach culture, I teach the idioms, I teach proper conversation English. If you're interested in this course, just type the word modal, M-O-D-A-L, modal. Please save this live, definitely, yes. Okay, when should we use no in answer to would you mind? When should we use no? Whenever you like, yeah. Someone says, would you mind if I sit here next to you? No, go for it. No, go for it. Na, بفرمایید. No, go for it. That means no, I don't mind. Yeah. So if you don't mind, you can just say no. Yeah. But I would like to inconvenience you in teaching. Okay. Can I get a bag? Yeah, that's another way. Yeah. Can I have a bag, please? Okay, absolutely. I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Lovely. Okay. What about informing? I'm not sure what that is. I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Lovely. So yes, I see someone's written modal. Modal, please. M-O-D-A-L. M-O-D-A-L. نمیخوام به زحمتتون بندازم هیچ جوره. Yes, absolutely. Okay, modal. Lovely. So I'm going to take the comments off again. We're going to go to the third one this time. Right. The third function of would is when we want to talk about a habit, a routine, a habit in the past. That habit or routine doesn't happen anymore. It was only a routine or habit that happened in the past. Okay, so it was an action that happened for a long period of time. It happened for a long period of time. So it was a habit, it was a routine. Habit or that, yeah? It was a habit, it was a routine, but it doesn't happen anymore. That is also when we use would. Okay. Now in this sentence, I want to, excuse me, I want to tell somebody about how my school was when I was a child. Okay. And I think this might have been very similar to schools in Iran as well. Maybe 45, 47 years ago. Back in the day, that means a long time ago, in those days, in the past, back in the day, schools would offer every child a square meal. Okay, so back in the day, that's a phrase we use, which means, you know, قدیما. اون زمان قدیما. Back in the day, schools would offer every child, this is the idiom, a square meal. Square, كلمة مربع, a square meal. A square meal is an idiom. It means a complete meal. It means a starter, a main course, and a dessert. But starter, main course, and starter, main course, and dessert, all of them are healthy. So it's not like chips and pizza and these horrible fast food things. Back in the day, schools would offer every child a square meal. Okay. Now, I don't know, before Inqilab, before the revolution, I don't know, but I'm guessing from the videos I've seen, from, you know, stories I've heard from a lot of people, I'm going to come back to the comments. From what I understand, Iran was the same. Is that right? Back in the day, schools would offer every child a square meal, and I think it might have even been free. I don't know. I know in Iran, if I'm not mistaken, schools would offer free milk to every child. Is that right? Do correct me if I'm wrong. اگه اشتباه میکنم تصحیح هم کنین لطفاً. Do correct me if I'm wrong. Back in the day, schools would offer every child a square meal. Is that right? It was free, yeah. Farial Afazeli, thank you. Yeah, it was free. Wow. Yeah. So schools would offer every child a square meal. Wow. Yeah, it's right. It's right. Yeah. Today, I don't know how the schools are in Iran, but today in the UK, usually with the school meals, you have to pay. If you are receiving benefit from the government, then school meals are free, but usually you have to pay. Unfortunately, I mean, I've got two kids. Both my kids go to school, and they go to a good school. Unfortunately, the menu of the high school that my kids go to isn't very good. The menu isn't anything to write home about. Isn't anything to write home about. Isn't anything, idiom, to write home about. Isn't anything to write home about. When something isn't or wasn't anything to write home about, I'm going to write all these down. That means it wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything special, or it isn't anything special. So the school meals, the menu of school meals at schools here in the UK isn't anything to write home about today, yeah? But back in the day, schools would offer every child a square meal, yeah? And as you're saying, a free square meal. Fantastic. What's the difference between used to with habit? Used to is also used for a habit as well. Yeah, used to and would, both are used for habit. Okay. Write home about, write. W-R-I-T-E. Write. So not right, that's the rost. Isn't anything, thank you, IMM Unstoppable. Isn't anything to write home about. Lovely, yeah. Okay. Mr. Saeed 1989, would you mind if I park beside you? It sounds like we're talking about cars. Yes, okay. Right, there's one thing I need to let you know. With idioms, ببینین در فارسی ما هیچ موقع نمیتونیم بگیم آشپز که 3 تا شد. همیشه آشپز 2 تاست توی این اصطلاح، درسته؟ هیچ موقع توی این اصطلاح آشپز 3 تا نمیشه. همیشه آشپز 2 تا شد. اون وقت آش. هیچ وقت نمیگیم سوپ. هیچ وقت نمیگیم کباب. میگیم آش. یا شور میشه یا بینمک. یعنی این ایدیم دست نمیتونیم بهش بزنیم، درسته؟ در زبان فارسی این اصطلاح. In English, a lot of idioms are the same, okay? So I don't park here. If I say, would you mind if I park here? That means, can I park my car here? I have to use the word myself. I have to use the word myself. Would you mind if I park myself here? Now the idiom is correct. Okay, if I say, would you mind if I park here? Everyone's going to be looking for my car. Yeah, of course, but where's your car? I have to use the word myself. Park myself here, and that is the idiom. Okay, or else, yes, if you say, can I park beside you? Yeah, that means you're talking about a car park, and you're talking about cars. Okay, lovely. Very good. Lovely. What's this? This is from Reza. How to pronounce Yorkshire. 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 That's pronounced differently in America and Canada, isn't it? They pronounce it Yorkshire. We just say Yorkshire. Okay, lovely. Right, so that was the third one. Very good. And I'm going to go to the final function for would. Yeah. Okay, just going to take the comments off. Going to go to the final function of would. in today's lesson. Please do remember, would has a total of 8 different functions. It does 8 different jobs. Today in this live, I'm only talking about 4 of these functions, okay, because we only have half an hour. If you wanted to know more about these functions, and it's my modal verbs course is 20 lessons. Would is one of the lessons, okay, so you've got 20 lessons in the modal verbs course. One of the lessons is on would, and it's got obviously 8 different functions. 20 lessons altogether with all the modal verbs that I have taught you. And when I teach you, everything I teach you is in English in the lesson. So as you can see, when I'm teaching you, I'm giving examples. In my examples, I'm using more idioms. This is all included in the lessons as well, okay? And if you are interested, for anybody who's recently joined, just type in the word modal and you will get an automated message come to you about the course. The reason why I keep saying this is because so many people WhatsApp message me on Instagram and they say, what courses do you have? All my courses are on the website. This is the one that I'm working on now, and we have online sessions for the modal course every Sunday as well. So you study the lesson yourself. Every Sunday we come online and we practice that lesson together. Okay, so now we're going to look at the final function in tonight's lesson for would. I'm going to talk about the second conditional, where we use would, yeah? We use would in lots of different conditionals, but this is the second conditional, and we use this idiom in this conditional a lot. Let's say, for example, as you know, right now we're coming very close to the general elections. Yeah, we're getting very close to the general elections in the UK, and oh my God, it's such a mess. The politics in the UK right now is such a mess. And let's say, for example, somebody says it would be amazing if the government would lower taxes, Maliat. It would be lovely if the government lowered taxes, if they would increase raises, if they would give, if they would provide more opportunity for businesses, if they would fix the NHS, if they would fix the education system. Wouldn't this be fantastic? Yeah. And I want to say in Farsi, I think you say this, این که محال اتفاق بیفته ولی خب دیگه امیدوارم. Is that what I'm trying to say? in فارسی ببخشید. میخوام مثلا به فارسی بگم که این که خب اتفاق نمیافته ولی خب اگه میشد عالی بود. Something like this. این که خب اتفاق نمیافته ولی اگه میشد عالی بود. This is what I want to teach you now. We say, if it were possible, comma, the idiom is this, chance would be a fine thing. Okay. من چند نکته اینجا هست که باید به فارسی سریع توضیح بدم. اولا این جمله‌ای که الان عرض کردم جمله فرمول second conditional هست. Okay. If it were possible، اینو من الان گفتم ولی توی محاوره این قسمت جمله رو دیگه ما نمیگیم. If it were possible اینجا دیگه نمیگیم، فقط قسمت دوم جمله رو میگیم. Chance would be a fine thing. Chance would be a fine thing. یعنی این که اتفاق نمیافته ولی خب اگه میشد عالی بود. That's what it means. Chance would be a fine thing. Okay. این اتفاق نمیافته. NHS رو بیان درست کنن، education رو درست کنن، tax رو بیارن پایین، نمیدونم اینجور چیزا رو که نمیان بکنن. politician ها، این سیاستمدارا که نمیان این کارو بکنن، ولی اگه میشد عالی بود. This is the idiom. Chance would be a fine thing. Chance would be a fine thing. Okay, so we've used it inside the second conditional, right? And these are the things that, as you can see, I teach. excuse me, on my modal verbs courses. So on these courses, I'm not just focusing on this is will, this is would, this is the grammar, because that's really boring. We want to use the modal verbs in conversation. We want to know that when we meet somebody on the street in the middle of a conversation, what can I say? If I go to work, how can I speak English? And we use these modals a lot in a lot of our conversations. Okay, so this is where we say chance would be a fine thing. این که قرار نیست اتفاق بیفته ولی خب اگه میشد عالی بود. Yeah, chance would be a fine thing. Just think, how many times a day do we think to ourselves این که قرار نیست اتفاق بیفته ولی خب اگه میشد عالی بود. How many times do we think this to ourselves? So we are constantly saying to ourselves, chance would be a fine thing. Chance would be a fine thing, yeah? Okay, lovely. So tonight's lesson has all been about one of the modal verbs, which is would. And would altogether, it has 8 different functions. I'm so sorry, I've gone over 7:30. I'm going to end the lesson in a minute. So would itself has 8 different functions, 8 different jobs it does in the English language. Tonight I've just covered 4 of those jobs. The first one we said is when we make a polite request. Would you mind if I park myself here? Would you mind if I park myself here? Would you mind if I park myself here? Yeah, that's when I want to sit down next to somebody using would. The next one is instead of want, I use it with would like. Yeah, well, I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Thank you, that's very kind of you, but I wouldn't like to inconvenience you in any way. Okay. The third one we said is for a habit that happened in the past, a routine or habit that happened in the past. It doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, again we use would, and that is back in the day. Back in the day, back in the day, schools would offer every child, every child a square meal. And obviously that's one of the reasons I think why kids back in the day would love to go to school. They would be interested, you know, in their studies. They couldn't wait to, هم باز یه modal هست یه درس جداست. They couldn't wait to go to school, to see their friends, because they had all of this nutritious, really healthy food inside of them, you know, not just burgers and chips and pizza and all these horrible, horrible things that people are giving them now. The good old days, El Ahmad Zadeh, yeah, the good old days, absolutely. Yadesh Bekhair, yeah, the good old days, absolutely. The good old days, the good old days, the good old days, Yadesh Bekhair, yeah, the good old days. And in Iran, obviously, it was free as well. I have a feeling that a square meal here in the UK was free as well. Before, I think it was before Margaret Thatcher. I think before Margaret Thatcher, if I'm not mistaken, school meals were free. I wasn't in school when Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister. I was in school after that, but I have a feeling that before Margaret Thatcher, back in the day, schools would offer every child a free square meal. Honestly. Okay. And the last one we said is the third conditional. We don't say the first part of the sentence, we just say the second part, which is the idiom. Chance would be a fine thing. Yeah. Chance would be a fine thing. So these are just a few of the functions of the word would. Many people ask me, Layla, can you teach us a little bit about would? And there you go. Hopefully that has helped you a little bit. So, yes, if anyone's interested in any of these examples that I've just mentioned, all of them are in the lesson of would, and would is one of the lessons of my modal verbs course. Because we're at the end of this live, you might not be able to get the message from me again anymore. Once I stop this live, you won't be able to get the message from me. However, you can go straight to my website and you will see it is the modal verbs course on my website, and you can join anytime you like. So you will study the lesson yourselves, and every Sunday at 6 p.m. UK time, we all come online and we either start the lesson a little bit with a free discussion, just to see how everyone's doing, like we did tonight. And people in the lesson tonight were fantastic, sharing, you know, about their own experiences and their weekend and last week and everything. Talked a little bit about politics tonight as well, English politics. And then we practiced the lesson together in the online session as well. So I won't just sell you the course and leave you. You are my responsibility, okay? So if you do come on this modal course, you are my responsibility. It's my job to make sure I'm there to answer any of your questions, okay? Lovely. 6 p.m. The online session that I'm talking about is 6 p.m. My Instagram live is 7 p.m. Yeah, okay. So just before I come onto my Instagram live, that's the online session that we have for the modal verbs. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's lovely to see you all again. Thank you, and I hope to see you again next Sunday. If you have any questions about the modal verbs course, about anything I mentioned in tonight's live, or anything from my reels or messages or anything, please do message me and I'll try and help you. Okay, thank you. This has been recorded and I will upload it on YouTube very soon. Have a very good evening, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.